I mean, there's lots of things I could talk about in terms of gospel's reliable and all these things. Like, for example, one thing that comes up a lot around Easter is it's the only world religion where there's no place to go and mourn, right? I can tell you where Muhammad's grave is. I can actually tell you where Abraham was buried. I can tell you all those things. But there is no place that you go and mourn Jesus' death and leave him flowers like he's still on the ground, right? He's the only religious leader who has no place to mourn. But the craziest thing to me is that Jesus' brothers called him God. Now, how many of you have siblings? Some of you, right? How many of you shared bathrooms with your siblings? Now, imagine then writing publicly that your sister or your brother who you shared a bathroom with, who you unclogged y'all's toilet. You know what I'm talking about? Imagine then writing later that your sibling was God and that you were their servant, right? What I know, because I have siblings, I have 2 sisters and a brother, I want really good for them. I want really good for them. Just not better than what I have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it to be good, but not quite that good. It's just hard written in us for some reason. I mean, I want their life to be spectacular, but boy, it better not be better than mine, right? And so there's just something so weird about this with siblings. So to me, the craziest argument about this, in terms of the reliability of the Gospels and of these writers, is these brothers tell you that they believe their brother is God. In fact, it's so interesting. You can see what it says here. Neither one of them even lead with that. They don't go, James, Jesus' baby brother, right? Jude, Jesus' little bitty baby brother. They don't do any of that. Like, I'm telling you, I would lead with all that. I would let you know, hey, I'm Josh, God's my brother, right? I mean, whatever it is. These folks here, they have decided that they would surrender their relational equity just to call themselves servants of Christ. And so there is something so significant about this. Something had to have changed for them. Because there's early writings, there's actually some other writings where Jude is skeptical and James is skeptical of this. In fact, there's this moment where none of them want to kind of own that Jesus is the Christ, and yet something changes. Well, what changes? What changes, right? Well, when we go back to this thought is that the God exists, miracles are possible, the Gospels are reliable, really reliable, and if the Gospels are reliable, guess what that means? That means Jesus rose from the dead. He rose from the dead. Because all 4, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, James, Jude, Paul, I mean, the writers of the New Testament, all of them tell us that this guy said he was God, and then he died, and then he came back to life. Even the most brilliant sociologists in the world would point to whatever happened 2,000 years ago and said something had to happen. Something had to have happened because these Christ followers, they give up everything. They give their money. They create health care. They create adoption and orphan care. They do all these things for the good of the world. And while they are doing it, they're getting beat down and crucified. They're dying for this. What would it require of us to give our life to these things? And the only thing that makes sense to me is that they must have actually witnessed something pretty crazy.